Hi, welcome back for another video. In this one I'm going to show you how I sharpen my chisels by putting the secondary bevel on them. If you haven't seen my previous video on installing the CBN wheel into my low-speed grinder in order to put the primary bevel on a chisel, I'll put a little link up here in the top and in the description down below so that you can go back and watch that one first. But let me show you how I sharpen my chisels with my method. First, let's talk about the gear that I use to sharpen with. So I do use water stones. So one of the first steps is going to be flattening them. So I have a DMT 600 grit diamond plate that I use for flattening my stones. I have Norton water stones. I keep the 1000, 4000 combo always soaking in water. The 8001 for the final polish doesn't need to stay in water, so you can just spritz water onto it. But I don't tend to use just any water. I do have some water made up with some Honrite in this spray bottle here, and that is so that the water doesn't rust the tool steel while you're going through the process of sharpening. In order to set the secondary bevel angles on the chisels, I use a Lie-Nielsen honing guide, and I made a protrusion stop so that you can very easily set your bevel angles using this. I made a video on how to make this. I'll leave a link up top for that. If you haven't watched it, go take a peek at it. But in any event, let's get to sharpening. Okay, so in my sink, I am going to use just regular water. And we'll get that 600 grit stone ready to go here. And got that 1000, 4000 combo, and I have used it a little bit on some other items to sharpen them, so we just get them flat. Nice consistent color on that. That's nice and flat, and we'll do the same on the 4000 grit side. I like to rinse in between just to make sure I don't contaminate the finer grit with the coarser grit particles. Now I am going to do the one side of my 8000 grit stone. This side's already done. I haven't used it yet, but since I've got this out and it's all wet, we're just going to do up the other side of the 8000 grit stone that's been used already. I find this 8000 one likes to really suck onto whatever flattening stone you're using. Okay, so that's got the stones looking really nice and consistent in their color. So they look pretty flat to me. And I always immediately dry off these diamond plates just so they don't rust, particularly if I haven't used the Honrite on them. That way they don't rust. I'll show you quickly, when you put that primary bevel on these chisels, you can get really close to the edge of that tool steel using the CBN wheel. You can see I left a tiny bit of the edge there, but that's going to be so fast and easy to sharpen because it's so minimal out there at the tip. So it's a super easy process when you incorporate a protrusion stop. You just put your chisel into your jig and put your blade up against the stop block for 25 degrees and slide your jig right up to the edge of your protrusion stop, and that automatically sets things at 25 degrees. And from there we just go to the stones. It's been a couple of minutes since we had these stones in the water, so just spritz on a tiny bit of the Honrite onto here. We're going to start off with the 1000 grit stone here. And it's only going to take a few passes until we can develop a little bit of a slight burr out there at the end of the tool. And I think I've almost got it. Yep, that's got it. Just take a very light pass or two on the back of it to get rid of that burr. We'll flip this over. We'll use the 4000 grit side. Same thing, just a few light passes to get a burr. And that's got it. And just take that burr off. And then we're onto this 8000 polishing stone. Now I do have a 16001 that I'm going to start using on plane blades, but I'm not going to bother with that on these chisels. And that feels razor sharp. I'll see if I can get this onto the camera so you can see all the work that I did, which is very minimal. It's just right out at the tip there, only like 32nd or a 16th of an inch. There you can see it better. I did all 11 chisels in probably just barely over an hour, and that's including all of the setup for the cameras and the lights in order to film this for you. So I would expect you should be able to get through this in maybe 40 minutes or so if you were doing it yourself at home. So let me know what you thought about the video. If you've got any other tips on sharpening chisels, put those in the comments. Definitely subscribe to my channel and give me a thumbs up if you liked this video. And be sure to go back and watch the one on the CBN wheel that I did just a few days ago, because that's a really fast, easy way to put that primary bevel onto your chisels. So until next time, go build something beautiful.